It's Tuesday, August 12th, and we're going to try a different perspective today. Okay, so we've got a couple things going on. There's a very, very strong moon today, and I'll talk about that in a minute because I think the moon is really ruling today. But first, I want to talk about the Pluto midpoints that are going on because those are also very, very strong. So we've got Pluto at the midpoint of Sun, Venus. Pluto's at the midpoint of Sun, Jupiter, and Pluto's at the midpoint of Mars, Uranus. All of that's really strong. So what does that mean? Pluto compels us. It makes us a little bit obsessive, a little bit, it's very intense. It makes us really focus on something with a lot of intensity. With being at the middle of the Sun, Venus, and Jupiter, both, that's like making us focus on what's beautiful, what's sweet in our lives. But with the Jupiter there, it could be like excessively sweet. Like what would be just so good? What would be so amazing? It can make us a little bit lazy as well when Sun and Jupiter are together. So like, are we being indulgent? Are we being too lazy? Are we not taking responsibility for ourselves? It's time to look at that stuff now. And then Pluto at the midpoint of Mars and Uranus can make us a little reactive. It can make us take action too quickly. It can cause accidents because we're jumping before we're even looking. So we're jumping down the stairs, but is it 2 stairs or is it 10? So it's kind of forcing us to take those actions maybe before we're ready. And is that the wisest thing to do? Just because Pluto is there does not mean we actually have to act. Sorry, it just means we need to focus on that. Focus on what we would do in different situations if we were pushed too far. So this is saying to me, if we're too lazy or too indulgent or too focused on just getting the good stuff for ourselves, is that going to cause problems that's going to force us to react later on? Okay, so let's bring the moon into all this. The moon is hitting, that kite that I talked about that's still in the sky. It's been there for a while and it's going to be there. It's starting to break up a little bit, but it's still going to be strong for the next week or so at least. So the moon is going over the top of that kite. It's going over Saturn and Neptune, and it's making us. The moon makes us. It's about our emotions. It's about how we feel. It's also about how we bring the past into the present. Our attitudes, like our moods, all of that. How do we want those to be? It just crossed over from Pisces into Aries, so it's asking us how we want to be authentically. How do we want to show up in the world, in our lives? Do we want to keep doing things the way we've been doing them, or do we want to change? And that's related to what we expose ourselves to, especially with the Pluto midpoint. Do we want to keep being around people who bring us down, who try to power it over us, who try to force us to do things we don't want to do? Or do we want to surround ourselves with people who lift us up, who help us to stay in the space where we want to stay, emotionally, energetically, and so forth? So what do we need to do to be there? The moon going over Sun, Neptune says to me, are we in touch with our spirituality? And are we taking care of that? Are we taking care of that for ourselves? Are we doing our spiritual practices? Are we bringing those into our day-to-day lives? Because that's going to be really important moving forward all this year, all the way through at least July of next year, to become the people that we want to be. Because these outer planets, they're in a long-term pattern, and they're kind of going back and forth. They retrograde as well, not just Mercury is retrograding, but these other planets are retrograding as well, Saturn and Neptune specifically, as well as Pluto. So we're all reflecting on who we want to be, and that the environment that we put ourselves in, what we feed our soul, really has a lot to do with where we're going that way, and how true we can stay to ourselves in terms of where we're going. Okay, then the moon is also going to hit Mars today. It's going to be across the sky from Mars, so we're going to feel some drive to act based on what our mood is, based on what our attitudes are. And it's also making sextiles, or kind of easier angles to both Uranus and Pluto on both sides. So we're kind of feeling that whole kite today as the moon moves one by one over these points as it's going through the very, very beginning of Aries. So just pay attention to your moods, pay attention to your attitudes, see where they are good, see where they need to change, see what you need to do. And I think this is the most important thing, to keep yourself where you want to be long term. Because, spirituality is no longer about meditating and getting out of ourselves and escaping the world. It's here and now. It's in this world. And we need to be in line with our spiritual, we need to do our spiritual practices every single day, sometimes like several times a day, I think. We need to pay attention to what we're feeding ourselves in terms of news coming in. And what are we looking at on social media when we're scrolling? Are we looking at stuff that brings us up, or are we looking at stuff that pulls us down? All that stuff is stuff that we need to reflect on today, because it's going to be really important in taking us where we want to go in the next year or so. So I say this, it sounds like a lecture, and I'm not just talking to you guys, I'm talking to myself as well, because I need to hear it as much as you. So I hope this is helpful. I hope you have a great day. Remember, doing your spiritual work also means, like I said, surrounding yourself with people who lift you up. So if you want to do that, remember we're having a retreat on August 23rd, 24th in the Blue Ridge Mountains in Virginia. So you're welcome to join us for that. And we had a great time last night at the first small astrology group meeting as well. There's still space available in those, so feel free to join up on those as well, because we are having a blast and everybody's getting so much out of it. So yeah, so I hope you're having a great day, and I'll catch you next time.